everybody. Bill Thornton, SoCal Sabre here. How are you all doing today or tonight or whenever you're watching this, either live or when they're recording? Yeah, the NHL season has finally got underway, and I'm excited because hockey, as most people know me know, is my favorite sport. And I've been a Sabre fan since before they were the Sabres, since they were the Buffalo Bisons in the American Hockey League in the early 60s. Well, anyway, I don't hesitate if you come on to make some comments in the channel. And let's talk about the roster first. First of all, I was not disappointed because, as some of you know, see me at the beginning of the season, I says I'll be disappointed if J.J. Peterka and Jack Quinn did not make the roster, and they both did make the roster. That I'm very happy about that because that's going to give us some more offensive punch when these guys get used to it. And then so the Sabres are now the youngest team with an average age of 25 years old in the NHL. And that includes Craig Anderson, who's 41. So think how young they would be if they, didn't have Craig with them. That's pretty cool. And then the captains and the alternates, I'm personally pleased with that. The alternates, they gave it to Rasmus Dahlin and Zemgus Girgensson. And for the C, they gave it to Kyle Okposo. And I think that was a good call because Kyle, last year when we didn't have a captain, he kind of stepped up with his maturity and his age, not only in his gameplay, but in leading the youngsters. And I think it's good because he'll be even just as good this year. Some people wanted Rasmus Dahlin. I'm just saying be patient because I really believe Rasmus will be a captain. But I was glad that he wasn't at this young age so he can continue his growth like he is growing. But he got the alternative. And Zemgus Girgensson got the alternate captain also. He's our longest tenured Sabre, and he does a good job, and I think he deserved it. Some other people wanted Alex Tuch as the captains, and Alex would make a good captain, but I think with his short residency with the Sabres, got to wait down the line again because Alex provides a lot of leadership on the team on the ice and probably off the ice too. So he doesn't need an A or a C to provide it. He's there doing it. Not that Kyle and them need the letters, that they'll step up and do those things. So that's it as far as the roster goes, and we, of course, the way I expected it, Anderson and Comrie are our starting goalies. UPL's down in Rochester. But anyway, we had our first two games under our belt, and we're 1-1. Pretty much the way I expected. Okay, there's NASCAR Cat Car. Hello, thank you for joining. It's kind of the way I expected. In the first game, they looked a little bit slow in their first period, but then they came back and they were down and they came back and scored. And I was really happy that J.J. Peterka scored our first goal of the season, and then Dahlin scored, and then Victor hit those two empty netters to seal it at the end. And so that was a nice come from behind victory against Ottawa, who made a lot of changes, and they were pretty good. Coming into today was a little bit of a different story because this was Florida. And they were the President's Trophy winners last year. Sure, they got rid of one of their big guys, Goudreau, I think it was, but they brought in Matthew Tkachuk. Matthew had 105 points last year, and Matthew is tough. And he brings the toughness to this Panther team that I don't think that they had before, and they got a lot of guns on that team. So I think that they may even be better right now than what they were last year. And the time will tell. Today's game, to me, they kind of look like they came out trying to intimidate us because Buffalo got out hit bad in the first game, 18-9 or something like that, and intimidated us. But I was really happy that the young guys in the Sabres stood up to it, and they took the abuse, and they played a really good game, I think, against a team. There's some weaknesses. I'll mention them a little bit later, but as far as not giving up, this is where they ended up last year with that attitude of always playing. You can never count them out. And it looks like they're right back at it again. And they got some new guys, and we're going to work them in. And Peterka got an assist today. That's cool. Darlene got his second goal of the season already. We're seeing some good stuff. Alex Tuch punched one in there, and so did Zengas. So they stood up to the roughness. I think that Comrie in his first start for us, I think Comrie did a pretty good job. I think it was his D that let him down, and there was a couple of things that there was no way. He gets flying around a little bit, but I'm sure that he had nerves going for him too. But I'm not going to make a judgment on Comrie too early. But today's game, I thought he did good, even though we lost. Anderson yesterday was great, really great. And I think he saved the game for the Sabres yesterday. In the weak areas that I'm going to talk about is, first of all, too many odd man rushes in both games. I don't know how many there was in the first game the other day, but there were 6 of them today. So what's causing that? I can only think that our D are concentrating too much in the other zone to try to get into the offensive play and not keep an eye on what's going on, because especially with Florida, historically they love running and rushing up and breaking out. So we should have been watching for that a little bit more careful. Penalties, we've been taking too many penalties, and we took too many today. I think 6 of them or something like that. And they scored twice on it. You can't give that many penalties to a high-scoring team like Florida and expect to win. But I think that these things are going to get better as they go along. Power play, I think, needs some work. I'm not seeing a lot of shooting going on. It looks like there's too many passes and not enough shots looking for rebounds or anything like that. But historically in the NHL, the power plays are normally pretty calm at the beginning of the season because they don't have a lot of practice time getting with the power plays into them, even in preseason. So hopefully that'll come along. We got enough scorers now to be able to, put 2 pretty good units out there. Oh, and face-offs, we were all like last in the NHL last year in face-offs, and we needed to improve. And then the game number 1, 44%. That is not going to hack it. But today it was 52.4, so that was a little bit better. Last year I gave the guys, like there's those Cousins and Middlestaff and Tage Thompson, all of those guys are young and playing center. A couple of them for the first time in their lives last year. So I says, they got to learn. Okay, this is the second year. I'm not going to give it as much leeway in my personal thoughts this year. I should have been practicing this a lot. And so I really want to see some improvement on the face-offs, because it's really important, especially if you got to make defensive face-offs late in the game. And so those pretty much were the 2 areas that I thought that the first 2 games were a little bit weak on, and that they need some improvement. I say we, I guess I'm a Sabre fan. I can say we. Some of the good things I see, like I already mentioned about it, their never give up attitude is back again already. So that's going to make them an exciting team to watch this year, win or lose. They're going to be pretty exciting, I believe. Somebody asked me at the beginning of the season if I thought they'd make the playoffs. I said, I don't think so this year. They're still in the upgrowth. I just want them to be better than they were last year. And if they did make the playoffs, I'd be totally thrilled. But I'm not going to set myself up for a mental disappointment this year. And let's see, what else I thought was doing pretty, for the most part, because of the amount of penalties we took in the 2 games, our penalty kill did a good job. You just can't give up 6 to such a high scoring team and expect them to be able to hold them off forever like that. And let's see, what else I got to say here? Okay. Pretty much, that, it's going to pretty much, I got a couple more things to say, pretty much wrap up this video. It's a short one. Thank all of you for watching it, whether you're watching it live or you're watching the recording later on. please make comments on the recording. Let me know what you're thinking about what I've said, and I will get back with you in that. And for this show and this recording, go down there and hit that like button and subscribe. Get this out into the channel, help the channel grow. Hit that bell down there if you want to be notified when I put out other posts and so forth. Well, attendance, let's see, like I already said, they're going to be an excited team. Attendance was good the first 2 games, better than last year. I hope it keeps on improving because the players really feed off of that a lot. Now, they're on to a 4-game road trip out to the West Coast. And the next game is Tuesday versus the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid and Draisaitl. Wow. Wonder how they're going to handle them. And that's our young D. And, well, I can't say all the D is young anymore, but they're still young and they're growing. So, it's Connor McDavid. Say no more. I want to thank you all for stopping by. Thank you, NASCAR Cat Car, for joining me today. And this is me telling you all to take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and stay safe.